Well, that's what happens when you turn the ball over 15 times. If you're Illinois, you end up losing to Purdue 76-71. This will be a very short post-game show for Illinois. We were moments removed from them losing to Purdue 76-71 to end Illinois' regular season as they head into the Big Ten tournament. There's not much else to say with this Illinois team other than why does it take being down 26-47 at halftime or later on when there's 10 minutes left in the game? Why does it take Illinois this long to start showing that type of effort or things to go their way? I have no clue, but this is the same song and dance we have with Illinois every single time they play a team like this, or just in certain games. They were without Epps once again, showed because Shannon Jr. just got the ball stolen from him up and down the court, everything like that. So we're going to discuss everything that led to this loss outside of the turnovers, but you cannot turn the ball over that many times against a team like Purdue. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow Ray on Apple and iTunes. Leave a comment section down below, all that good stuff. Illinois wraps up the regular season, 76-71 loss to Purdue, as now they'll head into the Big Ten tournament. Illinois finishes the regular season 11-9 in conference, 20-11 overall. 4 games back of Purdue. Purdue's going to win the regular season Big Ten. Illinois is going to be anywhere between the 2nd and 9 seed in the Big Ten. Illinois just got off to a horrible start. They were down, I believe, 11-0 at one point at the very beginning. They were down 11-0 with 17 minutes left in the game where they had to call a timeout. And then they started to hit some shots, and then it was 13-4, 13-6. And then the time Illinois got it 26-21, you felt this comeback brewing, and then Purdue just starts going off. It's 30-23 for a while, 34-23 for a while. Then it gets out of control, and it's 47-26 heading into halftime. Cause this, Illinois turned the ball over way too many times. They made stupid passes at the beginning of the game, stupid passes that don't make sense. They would turn at the high post, high at the free throw line, turn and pass it off to somebody, or try to dump it off right there, but there's a guy standing right there, and they literally look like they just freaking passed him the ball. It did not look good at all. I thought some fouls on Eddie were questionable because it's the post. We're supposed to be men in the post. We're supposed to be able to handle getting hit. The talk about how it's so hard to guard a guy like that. It's so hard to, how do we call fouls against a guy like that? And I find that's the laziest excuse that I've ever seen in my life when it comes to that. But ultimately, there was not a lot of energy for Illinois in the first half. It looked like they had tired legs, and it could be obviously from that Michigan game that was very highly emotionally draining, energy draining. But ultimately, you cannot turn the ball over, 15 times. At one point, they turned the ball over 14 times, and Purdue had 14 points off those turnovers. So if you take away the turnovers, you are in a way better position and probably win this basketball game if you're Illinois. If you go over the entire stats for this game, field goal percentage, Illinois actually shot better, 48% to 47% for Purdue. 7 of 22 for 3, 6 of 18 for Purdue. 3-point was 31%. Free throws, Illinois could not hit free throws down the stretch, ended up being 16 of 24. 30 rebounds, 10 offensive rebounds, 20 offensive rebounds for Illinois. 13 assists for Illinois. Sold the ball 8 times, had 7 blocks, which is great. 15 total turnovers. I believe Purdue had 14 total points off those turnovers. And the largest lead was 24. Now, you cannot take away the energy and effort they showed with about 11 minutes left. All of a sudden, Illinois goes, we're here to play. All of a sudden, our legs feel good. And they decided to play. The full court pressure was starting to get to Purdue. Purdue started to, not hit the shots that they were making. But this Illinois team, where it becomes very frustrating is we either shoot too many threes, not enough threes, or we just refuse to do something I call 2-dribble shooting, where we pump fake or we sweep and go and we take 2 dribbles and we can get a shot. There was times in that comeback where we saw Coleman Hawkins start to do that. Shannon started to do that. They started to hit some shots. they just bypass sometimes open shots, which is very frustrating. Then there's times where they just force the shot up. So it's very extreme with this team. It's either they take way too many threes and they don't focus on the paint, or that's all they were trying to do. And it seemed like the first half there was some open threes they could have taken. It seems like they weren't trying to get to the paint as much like Purdue was. Purdue was all about getting the ball into the paint. But Illinois said, no, 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 no. We've heard everybody. We heard Coach Steve the last time saying that we take too many threes. So it just felt like in that first half, they said, oh, well, we take too many threes in the first half, and they decided to not. They took way more threes in the second half because they were in the comeback mode. They were in this desperation mode. So this Illinois team, where it becomes very frustrating is it's always a tale of two halves. It's always a tale of, if you broke it down into 4 10-minute quarters, it's always a different 10-minute frame with this team. They can be very, very, very good. The way they were playing in the last 10 minutes, they can beat anybody that they play against because Purdue is number 5 in the country for a reason. You saw Coleman Hawkins starting to do things on defense they need to do. He always has a tough matchup. Mayer was struggling the first half, then he started to come alive. He ended up scoring 16. Melendez started to really amp up getting some steals. He ended up having 2 steals and 7 points. Shannon had 13 points off the bench. Harris, I thought he was the Energizer Bunny. Anytime he came in, something good happened. He ended up with 11 points. Goody started to find his shot. He was 4 of 6, 2 for 2 for 3. He ended up with 10 points. So they started to find different guys around. They only played 8 guys. But one thing that will hurt this Illinois team without Epps in is, and it's hurt this team throughout the year, is who is actually truly the point guard. You don't have Trent Frazier anymore. You don't have, anybody like that that's going to bring the ball up. Epps was slowly becoming the point guard, but then Shannon can guard the ball, but he had the ball stolen a couple of times. And so they truly don't have this facilitator without Sky Clark that was maybe going to be built into that role. I know people are thinking about Ty Rodgers being something like that. I personally thought he struggled. He turned the ball over twice. Shannon, I know he had 6 turnovers. He was struggling. He got 2 taken away. The kids say, cookies when something gets taken from them. But Ty Rodgers, there was just times where I was like, what kind of decisions are you making when he's passing? This is in the first half when he was trying to post up and knock the ball, and the ball got stuck out of bounds. Like, he was struggling. But who do you bring in? When you don't have Epps, when you don't have Sky Clark, when you don't have some of these guys that are playing. But, to Brad Underwood's credit, he stuck with these guys. Danger has been, he played a lot because he had to guard Eddie, but he had 7 points. I thought they didn't get him the ball enough when Eddie was out, and he was in when he got into some foul trouble, and then Danger started to get into some foul trouble, but he was 3 of 4, 7 points. Just didn't get you the rebounds that he needed to. Coleman Hawkins had more rebounds. Mayer had more rebounds. Even RJ Melendez had more rebounds. And then Danger. So Danger's going to have to grow out of this phase into next year, but he's going to have to really start to focus on it as they head into the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournaments. But Ty Rodgers, I thought, really, really struggled. Shannon's decisions at the beginning, these little dump-off passes, you could blame him, but the guy wasn't cutting like he thought he was going to cut. So those type of things, those are the type of turnovers that you cannot have. But again, 15 turnovers, and then Purdue they score off those turnovers. But Illinois didn't get out on fast break enough early on. They started to when that comeback was happening, getting into the rim and getting a lot of and ones, and that's what kind of led to Illinois into this comeback. So you can't take away, but the frustration part comes in. Where's that effort at the beginning of the game? I saw a tweet that was hilarious. They said if Brad Underwood could just go up to the scoreboard or just give the guys a scoreboard and say, hey guys, we're down 20-0. We better come out and play them. They come out and play right from the get-go like that. They will compete with anybody, and they can make some noise in the Big Ten tournament if that's how they choose to play, and that's how they choose to go about this. But it was, a frustrating game because we're down 20-some points, 24 points, and then we make this comeback. We're so close. We have it tied. We're down by a point. We just did not hit free throws at the end. The turnovers killed us. But again, we can't go the whole show here without talking about people going after Brad Underwood. There's a guy on Twitter that always posts stuff about Brad Underwood, and people discuss this. And so I really don't care. I'm going to show we're going to show a tweet that I saw, and this guy goes after Coach Underwood a lot. I don't know why. And these are the type of things that I see for guys that talk about Underwood for some reason. And they go after him when things aren't going well. They're down 24 and, they talk about his job and, yes, he's obviously going to take the blame. He's obviously going to take responsibility for things. But there's this tweet from this guy who I've gotten into with before. Me and him have gotten after it because I don't agree with what he's saying. It's a guy that, I don't know if he's played basketball, writes about it. I don't know if he's ever played. I don't know, doubt he's ever coached ever. Says, and this was at halftime, said, been saying this for over and over every single game. And now this is a guy that writes, has a couple thousand followers, been saying this over and over every single game of this season. Brad Underwood deserves criticism for the season. Any so-called hashtag Illini fan who still disagrees is blinded by Underwood's, in quotation marks, successful past seasons. So this is a guy either went to the U of I, claims to be a U of I fan. I don't know who he is. I don't know how he has a job, anything that's ever related to in sports and writing and everything like that. These are the type of ignorant things that I cannot stand. Because if he is an Illini fan or went to the U of I, number one, you don't understand basketball. And I will tag this guy in this because this is ridiculous. Number two, why do we keep going after Coach Underwood? Do we not remember the Illinois basketball program before he got here? Number one. Number two, you're saying every single game you have said that Coach Underwood deserves a lot of criticism. Number one, no basketball game is ever going to be perfect. So this tells me that you don't know anything about basketball. So he deserves criticism. He deserves criticism when they beat UCLA. Okay. He deserves criticism when they beat Syracuse. I don't care if Syracuse is bad or not. That's a big-time program. That's a big win for me. Cool. He deserves criticism on the comeback win versus Texas. Cool. Does he deserve criticism when they beat Wisconsin, Nebraska, Michigan State, and Minnesota in the stretch? Okay. Does he deserve criticism when they beat Ohio State, Wisconsin again, Nebraska again? Okay, cool. Does he deserve criticism to beat a ranked Rutgers team when we weren't ranked? Cool. Does he deserve criticism on the almost comeback win versus Indiana? Because Indiana's very good. Okay. Does he deserve criticism on the comeback win versus Northwestern? Does he deserve criticism when they beat Michigan? Does he deserve criticism when he's gotten to 20 wins with a team with a bunch of freshmen, no true point guard, transfers who have to figure out how to play in his system? So this tells me how ignorant you are. This tells me how you don't understand anything. And why are we going after Underwood? This is a guy, and I should go back and find all the tweets he said to me saying there are plenty of coaches in the country that could come in and do exactly what Underwood is doing. And I call bullshit on that. You're telling me there's guys that could come in and do this job. So it's people like this that need to go worry about another team. How do you write for anybody in sports if that's a true job in his bio? I have no clue. Don't know if it's real. I don't care. But how? How does he have a job in sports? No freaking clue. But it's this type of stuff. Okay, if this is what you feel about Coach Underwood, go root for another team. Go be an Indiana fan. Go be a Purdue fan. I could care less. But go somewhere else. Coach Underwood has done a great job because it's easy to talk about a coach when they lose. But think about what they're doing. We're not a 5-win team. If we were a 5-win team, then you could sit there and talk about criticism. He tried to do a different defense at the beginning of the year. It was the switching defense. Then he went back to playing his normal defense, and it's gotten a lot better. A little bumps in the road here. Their offense, they started to move the ball around a little bit. Ultimately, yes, he'll take every blame for a loss. He'll take the blame for this one. But ultimately, he got the players to all of a sudden, they started to click. Like this type of, I have to defend Coach Underwood every single post game for some reason because people just go after him. People talk about firing him. People talk about this. And then there was another one with this saying, oh, it's going to be a big offseason, blah, 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 blah. Those are the type of things I talk about when I'm on here. Those are the type of tweets that get put up there that are stupid. They're just dumb. Go root for somebody else. We're blinded because they won. Okay, so every single coach that has won their conference, those fans are blinded as well. It's a 20-win season. It's a 20-win season. Now, eventually, yes, in the NCAA tournament, he's going to have to win games. But that doesn't mean we immediately fire him. Look at all these other basketball programs that have stuck with their coaches and good things happen. This is also the University of Illinois where we were down in the dumps. Are you going to fire Bielema in 2 years if it's still an 8-win season? No, it's progress. But it's fans like that who have a job in sports somehow, I don't know, that do that type of stuff. So I wanted to defend Coach Underwood once again, because it doesn't make any sort of sense as to why people always want to go after and always want to, that's the first thing they want to do is talk about firing him. And I don't know why they want to fire him, because who else are we going to get? Who else is it going to be? But it's those type of people that I just cannot stand. But Illinois gets the tough loss, 76-71 to Purdue, as now they await to see where they're going to be sitting in their seed. 76-71, lost to Purdue. They're going to wait and see how they're going to be ranked in the Big Ten tournament, and then they're going to go from there and then get into the NCAA tournament. And hopefully, Epps will come back healthy. They get some things more clicking in this tournament, and things will just start to flow and, make some noise. It's a fresh, it's in a mindset of a reset here as you go into the Big Ten tournament and into the NCAA tournament. Hopefully get some fresh legs, build off of the energy after Purdue, and we'll see who they're playing. And that's where we'll ravine back when we talk more about Illinois men's basketball, and we await for the women's side. They won a Big Ten tournament game and then lost the second one to Maryland, and they were waiting for their NCAA March Madness as well. Now I'll wrap up this post game. Thank you guys again for watching or listening. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out all the other videos. Follow and rate on Apple and iTunes. Helps go a long way. Check out all the affiliates in the description below. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you guys again, and we will see you guys next time.